Listen to the situation Andrea got into.
I'm 25 weeks pregnant.
25 weeks, meaning over 6 months.
Right, just beginning my 6th month.
Okay.
I've been with my boyfriend for about 3 years. And, one night I got drunk and I was at a club.
Where was your boyfriend?
He was at work.
He was at work, so you went out to a club.
Mm-hmm. So, I got drunk and I had a one-night stand with a man.
Where did you have it?
In his car.
So you left the club with him. Were you in the parking lot of the club?
It was in a hotel.
Uh-huh.
So in the garage.
In the garage of the hotel.
Yeah.
And you knew what you were doing.
Well,
You were drunk, but you knew what you were doing.
Right.
Because you remember doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember who the person was?
I don't know his name. I don't remember his name or anything.
Okay.
It was just, just a stupid thing you do. I don't know. There's really no excuse for it. Just I felt like it. I was out. I was drinking. I went out to his car with him, and we had sex in his car.
And you don't even know his name?
No.
All right. So then what happened?
So then I find out I'm pregnant, but, naturally my boyfriend thinks it's his. And he's very excited, and, the thing was, this man that I slept with in his car, he's a black man. So I figure when the baby's born, if the baby comes out, half black, then...
Baby could come out 100% black. That's possible.
Then, my boyfriend would know it's not his. So I wonder if maybe I shouldn't even mention it until the baby comes out, because if the baby comes out and maybe it's not this one-night stand guy, then great. Then I don't really need to say anything.
Yeah, but think of the scene you're going to have if the baby is black.
Well, I'm Brazilian, 100%. So I was figuring I could say maybe it's in my background, from
Are
my
your parents
grandmother.
black? Are your grandparents black?
I could say, oh, it's because I'm Brazilian. I could tell him, maybe it's just...
Well, let's start with your parents. Are they black?
No.
And your grandparents are not black?
No.
And then nobody in your family really is black?
My cousins are dark-skinned.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay. How black was the guy you had sex with?
Well, it was pretty dark, Tom. So I think, not very. He's not very, very dark-skinned.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why are you having this baby?
I couldn't kill a baby. I couldn't abort this baby.
Is this religious?
Not so much religious. I am Catholic, but it's not so much religious, just as moral. My morals.
Yeah, but what were your morals to go to a club, get drunk, meet some guy, go into a car and have sex with him?
That was just a one-night sexual deviant thing.
That's not my point. It's how can you use morality as a reason for anything? How immoral is that?
Well, there's a big difference between killing an unborn child and having sex in a car. The line of morality there is...
I see. So you think that was comparatively moral?
The keeping the baby or the having sex?
Having sex with someone else.
That's not, very moral, but it would be immoral to kill the baby.
Hold on a second here. Alex, what did you want to say to Andrea here?
Yeah, I just want to say how careless and how, what dumb decisions that this girl made. I mean, she goes out to some club and she gets knocked up by this guy that she don't even know the name, and she leaves her boyfriend on and think that the kid is his. I mean, dude, that's totally wrong.
Well, Alex, you're not my boyfriend, so you really shouldn't worry about it too much, should you?
Well, it's just not fair that, he think that this kid
Life's
is
not
his.
fair. Life's not fair. It's not fair that I don't know whose baby it is.
Would it be fair to deceive somebody into supporting a baby that isn't theirs?
Do you think it's fair for a child to grow up without a father?
Well, you should have thought of that before you spread your legs.
Well, when you're at that moment, you don't really think about that.
Oh, I see. But it's perfectly okay to take a guy and tell him he's the father, even though he's not, or he might not be. How about you give him the choice? Tell him it might not be his kid and let him decide if he wants to be a father.
I just know that he would still want to be the father.
Oh, really? Then why don't you tell him? Well, we'll call him right now. Why don't you tell him that he might not be the father, and let's see if you're right.
I think that the best thing to do would be to wait until the baby's born. We don't need to rile him up.
What do you mean you don't need to rile him up? In other words, you want to reserve the opportunity to deceive him into raising some other man's child. Right?
Not so much deceive.
What do you mean, not so much deceive?
She is deceiving him.
Whose child is this?
It would be mine and his because we would raise it with love.
Well, then why don't you tell him that someone else might be the biological father and see how anxious he is to raise that child? I mean, you know the reason you won't tell him is because you know he'll leave you.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Then why don't you tell him?
I think it would break his heart.
What happens if somewhere down the line as the kid's growing up, he's suspicious that the kid looks like someone else, and he has a DNA test done and he finds out then? What do you think he'll think then?
I don't know. I guess I don't.
You don't really care.
I would have to,
All you care about is you. You don't care about the kid. You don't care about him. All you care about is yourself.
That's not true because I want to give him the joy of fatherhood.
Really? Why don't you give him the joy of impregnating you instead of giving it to some stranger at a hotel? And since you are sure he'd want to be the father no matter what, why don't you be honest with him? By the way, doesn't that child have a right to know his or her medical history? What if the person you had sex with has a history in his family of, for example, sickle cell anemia?
Well, I would know that because
cancer,
I don't even know who that guy is.
Whose fault is that?
I can't even remember who he is.
Whose fault is that?
So it would do no good. It would be more damaging.
It would not. It would not. It would only be damaging to you, darling, because you'd have to find out who would pay for your bastard child.
Yeah.
That is horrible to say.
Yeah, well, they look up the word bastard in the dictionary. And you are afraid that your boyfriend would leave you, and then there you'd be stuck raising this child by yourself. It is all selfish. It's all about you.
I don't think so. I think it's,
I love this explanation for you devout Catholic. You want to give my boyfriend the joy of fatherhood. That's great. So you went out with some guy at a club, and he knocks you up, and then you're going to give your boyfriend the joy of fatherhood. That's very thoughtful and touching.
I think that, it would just break up a family. And
break up what family? Who broke up the family? You.
No, nothing is going to break up the family because nobody's going to know.
But that's my point. You have to lie. And by the way, let me point out.
It's not so much lie. It's not
Let's call him right now and tell him.
It's not lie.
Well, why not tell him? We'll call him right now.
The whole story.
We will call him.
It's like when a woman says,
you're so sure he wants the joy of fatherhood.
No, you don't.
You're so sure he wants the joy of fatherhood. We'll call him right now and ask him. Why don't we ask him right now?
No, you just want to raise your ratings based on my suffering.
What? Your suffering? I can't believe how self-centered you are. You don't give a rat's ass about the suffering of your boyfriend when he finds out that you effed around on him.
You
may have been knocked out by someone. I'm not making him suffer. I'm going to free him from a lifetime of supporting your bastard child. I'm going to help him.
No, you're not looking to help him.
I am absolutely looking to help him. And can I tell you something else, darling? Don't be so full of yourself. He'd thank me.
He would not. He would be very upset that you called him and you try to ruin my image to him.
Your image. Well, obviously, your image deserves to be ruined because you're a dishonest, underhanded, lying bitch who only cares about herself.
There's no need for name-calling, Tom.
All right, I'll just call you a slut then. Because that's what you are.
You are just upset because no woman would sleep with you in the garage of a hotel.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've been looking for. I've been looking for a woman to sleep with me in the garage of a hotel. Dear, I've had women have sex with me in every possible position, in every possible location. You should only know.
And I'm sure you've had to pay for that service.
I put it this way. I didn't knock anybody up and have to pay for their children. Like your boyfriend is going to get stuck for the bill. And you're sticking him.
No, I'm not, because I am very perfectly capable of taking care of this child on my own.
Great, then let's tell your boyfriend. Let's tell him.
I am not going to let you raise ratings off of his unhappiness.
Oh, really? Well, dear, believe we're going to raise ratings whether we tell him or not. I'll tell you that right now. Some Leykis.
Stay MGTOW.